Hello, everybody from around the world. This is Samson Li, coming to you from Los Angeles, USA. Hello, everybody around the world, USGS and Jeunesse family. Very excited to be here tonight, huh? As the music was playing, welcome everybody. As the music was playing, I was going over on the list of attendees, and there are people literally from around the world. I think I counted about 15 to 16 countries so far. Tonight we have a very, very special webcast with a fantastic program planned for you. Now, I don't know how it works, but I think on Zoom, if I mention your country, I think you can wave. So, I mean, at least, click the wave, or if you know how to do that in the chat. So, I see, let me just go through and acknowledge some different cities and countries. I see, we have, Los Angeles in the house. We have Singapore. We have Hong Kong, we have India, we have Indonesia, Australia, well, East, West, Australia, Macau. Wow, we have people from Canada, Vancouver, Toronto. Wow, we have a lot of people everywhere. So, and there's more and more. Taiwan, Japan. Wow, so welcome everybody. My name is Samson Li again. I'll be the host tonight. And tonight we have a very special program. And maybe before I bring up our guest tonight, let me say a little bit how this webinar came about. It was just about a few days ago that a leader, very diehard leader in Western Australia had suggested to do a little review for her team and give her and her team some information. And as we talked, we realized that, maybe it's time to remind and to share the old information and also new information that's truly, updated ones where it can help all of us in the business that we're in. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up our guest right now. It's my honor and fortune to met her in 2006, and I saw her become extremely successful in this industry. And from there, besides being successful, I got to know her and learned that she's a great leader, great person with heart. I think in business, I think in business that a lot of the times we can make money anywhere. But why with different people? The first thing some people look at is who they're doing business with. So I was fortunate to have met her, saw her become extremely successful, and we started Jeunesse together now, almost 9 years, and it's been an amazing ride, and all of you are on board with us. So, and as already, we have reached a certain plateau, but at the same time, we still actively, want to contribute to all of you out there to help you. From somebody who's just beginning their business to somebody maybe intermediate, somebody who's really going up the ranks, we're here for you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first person in Jeunesse. More importantly, this lady, she is a real global entrepreneur, one of the sharpest pencils I know. So without further ado, with much respect and honor, our leader, Ms. Kim Hui. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Samson. How are you? You look great.
Oh, thank you. You look great. Wow, you sound great too, huh?
If you only knew the work it took behind the scene. But anyway, I want to say hi to all of our friends all over the world on this webcast. And thank you, Samson, for hosting the call. It's a pleasure for me to be on. Like Samson said, this call came about kind of last minute. And I'm going to, at the end of the call, I'm going to touch upon how sometimes the seemingly little things that we do have such a major impact to our surroundings and to our lives. And so it's a pleasure for me to be on and get in touch and say hi to our friends. And so what I realized is that, from the last couple of days, I think a week or two ago, when a leader from Australia had contacted me about working the business. And there are several things I realized. And so the purpose of the call today are three things, at least my intention. So usually when I do a call, I like to set the intentions for the call. So the first intention would be to maybe perhaps through our conversation, we learn how to better articulate, to talk about and to share this opportunity. Because I notice a lot of times when new people getting involved in the business, they kind of struggle on like, how do I tell people what I do? Especially when people ask, well, what do you do? And so I notice, and Samson, I'm sure you do as well in the business, a lot of times people go, well, like we get so flustered and stutter, like, what do I do? What do I say? And so oftentimes it is very simple, but oftentimes, we struggle with the art of not to fire hose somebody, not to like in a little 1 minute, not tell them everything we do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So that's the first intention, how to really articulate and package and talk about what is it that we do? Because we often, oftentimes we talk about the new paradigm, the new thing. So how do we go about doing that? And so that's number one. And the second intention is for those of us that started the business, coming into the platform, what are some of the things that we should do? How do we engage and work our business? And so that's the second intention. And the third one will be, how do I work with my team? Because this business is not about you yourself doing all the work. It's about building with a group of people to leverage the platform as well as leverage other people's efforts to build a global distribution. And so those are the three things I want to talk about. And so I think a lot of times when people ask us what we do, especially, and oftentimes when people get involved, what they want usually, I don't know if you heard this, Samson, before, but people usually say, well, why don't you get a script? Like get a script and tell us what to say to people. Oftentimes I don't like to go that route, because to me, this business, like it's a lifestyle. It's like, living life. Can you get a manual script for life? Is there such a thing? I went to college. There's no course for such a thing as Life 101, because as we live our lives, different people bring in different aspects. Just circumstances are all different. And so what I realize a lot of times, why is there a struggle on what we say, how we say about the opportunity? And here's what I realize. It's very subtle, but I really have pondered on this, and then I came up with this, and I hope this will help you, okay? Oftentimes it's the reason why we have a little challenge of how to articulate this is because of these four things: what we say, what we say, what we do, what we think, and how we feel. These four things are not in alignment. For example, some people, like sometimes in the past, people say, well, what do you do? Well, I help people become financially free. And some people would say that. Now, when they say that, in a way, there's some truth to it, okay? Because a platform does offer the opportunity to help people to achieve financial freedom. But at the same time, the person that's saying it, their logical mind started questioning, well, I am not financially free yet. Well, how can I say that? So that little doubt kicks in. And so we have a little challenge of saying that. And so what I'd like to share with you, ultimately, the best way to share with other people is exactly let that come from your heart. So how does that work? How do you tell people what you do? And I think the number one thing that we have to do is I like to pose this question to you. And you may not come up with the answer right away, but I really, 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 from my journey of starting this company from zero to where we are today, 9 years later, and as I reflect on my journey, it's everything. I don't have a person sponsor. I'm sponsored by the company. So a lot of things that, instead of predicting what the future would be, instead of going for, predictability, I go for creativity. We go create what it is. So how do we do that? You ask yourself. So this is my question to you, is that ask yourself, what do you think you do in this business? People often ask me, how do I talk to people? I'll say, before you memorize on how you talk to people, I want to ask you, what do you think it is that you do in this platform? So think about that because when you talk to people, if it didn't come from here, you memorized it or you do whatever, people know you're pitching them something. So I would suggest number one thing is ask yourself, what do you think you do in this platform? Yes, we help other people, but first and utmost, we help ourselves first. And some people coming into the platform, they go, well, I don't need help. I'm, wealthy. I don't need to make money. Well, okay. So I think there's a little bit of gap, a little disconnect there. So I think, first and foremost, ask yourself, what is it you think we do in this platform? And go from there. So, and the second thing I want to talk about as we talk about new paradigm is that as we really got to learn to leverage the environment, what's happening around. And by that, I mean, we live in the United States. And last week, I want to share something with you. And these are the things that we could talk about when you talk to other people. I don't want to give you scripts because a script that might work for me, it might not work for you. So what works, it's got to come from here, because when you talk to other people, they can feel it. Okay, now, so let's talk about how are the recent news. What is it we do? Some of the things that I like to say, I have different things for different people and different field, because depending on who is asking me what I do. And later on, Samson may have some questions that you can ask me, Samson, and we can do some role play on how to articulate about what we do. And I think it's so important we learn to articulate that. Otherwise, it will be a constant loop of unconscious habits of either what we thought this platform was, or how we were taught or what to do. So I'm going to go a little different approach. Now, some people say, well, but Kim, it's much easier. You tell me exactly how it is. Excuse me. There's no exactly manual script for life. And same thing with this business. It's different stroke for different folks. Okay. And so let's go from last week. Last week, my son, who's 14 years old, and he says, Mommy, take me to Toys R Us. I say, son, you are 14 years old. Toys R Us for babies. He goes, Mom, you don't understand. These are the last few days of Toys R Us. And I was blown away. I mean, Toys R Us has been around for many, many years. I think 70 or 75 years. I mean, don't quote me on the years, but it's been around for a long, long time. And Toys R Us are going out of business in the United States. Now think about why is that? Because the whole, it's kind of sad news to watch them go away. But I want you to think about in your country, in your world, what are some of the what's happening to some of the retail businesses? Things are changing. The entire business landscape are changing. So as you talk to people, you can apply different things to different, you can articulate and package different things rather than it's MLM or it's because it's so MLM. Are we MLM? Yes, in a way we are. We'll get paid multiple levels, but at the same time, it transcends MLM. There's a whole dynamic of business landscape that's beyond MLM. So let's talk about retail stores. Like in the US, all these hundreds of stores are closing down. Why? People that we used to grew up with it's changed because the technology and internet totally is changing the way we live, changing the way we do business. And so when you grab the practical stuff that's happening around us, you can talk about that. And the other thing is this, it only happened to me this week. I used to have a fax machine. Well, get this, I didn't have a fax machine for about 10 years now. But get this, so I subscribed to something called eFax for the last 15 years. This week, I just canceled eFax. Why is that? Because it's no longer needed. I can use an app, take a picture of the paper I want to fax. I can turn it into PDF. I can email. I no longer need that. So from that little perspective, what do you think is happening to companies that provide these services for the last decade? over the last century. Things are changing. And so as you talk to your friends, rather than just pitching the business hard, talk about what's happening in our lives. How many people you know? I mean, the camera industry. I mean, look at this now. We all can do business with an iPhone. It's everything is changing around us. So when we talk to people, when I talk to people, depending on what it is, and Samson can later on pop in some of the questions, but I want to kind of like give a little synopsis of things around us that we have to learn to talk about. And that's why I don't like script, because what worked for me might not work for you. And so talk about the Uber. I mean, wow, if people that don't have a job, you have a car, you literally have an opportunity to go make money. Be an Uber driver, Lyft. What else? Amazon. I just found out, blew my mind. You know, Amazon, if you have a car and you want a side job, you can go to Amazon website and you register yourself to be a driver, and whatever area you want to deliver, every day you got job to do. You got work to do. Talk about sharing economy. This is totally revolutionized the way in which how we do business. So when you talk to people, pick some of these kind of things that's happening around our life. That's why I say that this is life. This is how we live our life. So when I talk to people, I know sometimes people go, oh, Jeunesse. Don't get me wrong. I love Jeunesse. But when you go talk to people, they don't know who Jeunesse is. They may not resonate with Jeunesse. Yes, we have phenomenal products, but in order for us to capture the attention, we have to learn to grasp the things that's happening in our environment and learn how to offer the solution and kind of bridge the gap of where they are now and how the changing landscape of our business world, how they can apply to them. So I hope it's not too deep or too philosophical, but that's what that's in essence, that's what I do. So I have different answers for different people, different feel, and depending on their background. So it's to me, there's no one pitch to go, boom, this work for everybody. It doesn't, at least it doesn't work for me like that. Okay. So Samson, I understand that, some of the leader had gathered some questions ahead of time. And so let's go with that. So I think that will be more impactful so that we communicate that way. So we learn how to articulate or how to share to talk about this opportunity. So go right ahead, Samson.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So I was looking through the questions and I want something that's pertinent to what you're talking about now.
Sure.
There's quite a few. I mean, we haven't gotten to how to do what's involved in working the business yet. So we'll put that later. But a very common question is, what mindset does one need to be successful in this business platform? That question is very common among new people and from all walks of life. It's something that would come out of very normally people's mouth.
Sure.
And of course, obviously, a lot of that maybe success is defined all differently. But what particular mindset, if you can share, that you feel and from your experience that can create the success for them?
I think just like running any business, the number one mindset is take ownership. And let's say that if you open a restaurant, you open a coffee shop, whatever, what mindset do you need to have? You gotta get ready for a ride of your lifetime when you run your own business. Gotta be resourceful. If you open your coffee shop, let's say you hire somebody to brew coffee, but if things don't go your way, what do? You get ready to jump in and play the role, any role. I mean, if you're a restaurant owner, if the tables are not clean and people are not doing the job right, you jump in, get it done right, and train other people to do the same thing. So I think stepping up and taking ownership. Oftentimes in this business, we come in, I noticed some people come in the business, they would look to their sponsor and say, you know what? It's your responsibility to teach me. It's our own responsibility to run our business. If your upline's available, if there's resources available, which nowadays through the internet, everything's available, a lot of resources available. And so we as entrepreneurs, we take on the responsibility of learning and growing our business. And so number one is ownership. Number two, I think a lot of people coming into this platform, sometimes they're looking for a get quick, what's it called? Get rich quick scheme. They come in, they go, you know what? Come in, teach me everything you know, and boom, I'm going to make a lot of money. It does take a lot of work. It does take learning. I was saying this to another friend the other day. I said, you know what? When we go to college, okay, we attend college for 4 years, university. Then we go to school for 4 years, day in, day out for 4 years. We graduated, then we look for a job. Look for a job to work to make a living. And yet, they join this platform, coming to this platform, and they expect that, boom, I can pick up everything and get rich in a month. It doesn't work like that. I think be ready to embrace a brand new platform. Be ready to learn. I mean, the toughest thing I saw, what I've experienced the last 20 somewhat years in this platform is that a lot of people coming in this platform, taking their entire past. What I mean by that is that all the past experiences, the perception, the emotions, the feelings about whatever they thought this is, or what they think it is, they project that it to be, they recall all the past stuff. And when they encounter a brand new thing and they apply their past to the present, it doesn't work like that. So kind of to recap, number one is take ownership. Our success depends on ourselves. When I started this company, I was the first distributor. Who do I rely on? Me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Now, of course, we have the company that provides a platform, but ultimately the success depends on us. I can't expect other people to do things. For example, Samson, I remember when we first got started, I didn't tell you to do things that I didn't do. True or not true?
Absolutely. And I knew it. And besides telling me, I took upon myself to watch and listen.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that is the key, Samson. I mean, a lot of times, see, besides taking ownership, you got to take ownership, and then you have to be willing to watch and learn and to unlearn some of the old stuff and relearn the new stuff. And I think the hardest thing I have seen in the past is that people, their willingness to dump the old stuff, because the old stuff is what gave them comfort. The old stuff is what gave them the quote unquote, they feel secure because it's something that they know. But to drop all that, to go into the unknown, is extremely uncomfortable. And so I encourage everyone to, this is the best way to describe it. Whatever we've known have gotten to where we are here today. So in order for us to achieve whatever that might be in life, unknown, yes, at times it could be scary, but the unknown at times is fascinating. When we are brave enough to let go of whatever that is holding us back. I mean, why let the old stuff hold us back when there is the infinite possibility out there? But the infinite possibility belongs to the unknown. So I think that the number three thing is, so number one is ownership. Number two is be willing to get willing and ready to relearn. Just go into the unknown. And the third thing is very important, is that how it make you feel. What does that mean? When you think about yourself, are you worthy of the success? See, this is, I mean, if you can get anything at all, I think this will be the key, Samson, that a lot of times people coming in, they do all the seemingly, all the work, I call it the smoke, all the work, they do everything. They do everything and everything. But when the very core of themselves, their very own worthiness, am I worthy of success? It's a very subtle thing, but it is so important. I mean, for those of you, if you're struggling in the business or wherever, look, I don't have all the answers in life. I still struggle in certain areas and trying to find balances. But when it comes to building a business, building a financial empire, building your fortune, I think it goes back to our very core of our own worthiness. Am I worthy to live in a beautiful home? Am I worthy to achieve success? Because that feeling of worthiness, see, your thinking cannot be greater than our own feelings. What I mean is, whatever you feel is greater than your thinking, if that makes sense. See, you can't outthink your feelings. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying, but anyway, okay. So however you feel, you can only think what you feel. So how do we change that? Is change how we feel. And so how do we feel? I mean, think about, I want, if this call, if I could sum up the most potent thing, the essence of entrepreneurship, is that core in your heart. Ask yourself, are you worthy of being successful? Whatever success means to you. I don't care what's happening in our life. I mean, things happen in our lives. Things change, things happen. But dump all that, because whatever had happened, that's a thing of the past. But from this moment, learn to tap in from this moment, learn to tap in the infinite possibility. So ask yourself, are you worthy of success? Because when you feel like, and when you know and you feel like it, your thinking changes. And you can think, when you're in that feeling, you're in a different state of being, that you can articulate and tell people what it is that you're doing. And I could tell you in the beginning, nobody, if you were to hear me talk about Jeunesse and our great product, nobody would understood me. And then Samson did a phenomenal, he could outdo me 1,000 times when he explained about the product, the technology. I mean, he's just like, he flies at like flying color. I mean, he's Mr. Google. He researched all this stuff. He could talk about these stuff. You ask me, I have no clue what I'm saying. But you know what? People are gravitating towards something. Why? It has to come from here. I was high on cloud nine because I was at a space where I totally feel that this is going to happen. I was on fire and building my dream, my passion, things I want to do with my life. So when you get into that space, it doesn't matter what you say. People go, you know what? I want what she's having. I want what he's having, because that is that's what's contagious. It is that energy that people gravitate towards too. You know what? But when people are brand new, it's not reserve or the serum or whatever. I mean, to some people it might be, but they might be, and that's for consumer. But for people that say, you know what? I want this. I want to use and leverage this platform to change my life. So what is that got people that want to do that? It is that. And I'm sure, hopefully you can feel that. You can't fake it. It has to come from here. 9 years into the program, every day I still feel like this. I mean, think about this. Where did it come from? Tap into that infinite possibility. Don't let your past predict your future. Get into that zone. Because the future is not based on prediction. Prediction is based on your past. Future is based on your creativity. Go create something. The very first part is that tap into that, your own self-worth. Are you worthy to be successful? If you don't know the answer yet, I could tell you, we all are worthy of something. We all are. Just borrow that. If you don't believe in yet, just borrow that for now. You are worthy. We all are. So, next question, Samson.
Well, actually, I want to continue with that. Just one more question on that.
Sure.
So self-worth, you're absolutely right. I've watched people, and that's one of the major reasons why some people are faster than other people in the business. I mean, it's totally just come from inside. So, and it relates to the self-worth. It relates to our self-love. Right? True. So let's say that we always teach the how to, How to invite, how to present, how to overcome objection, how to promote events, how to edify. I mean, there's so many videos on it online, and our team or uplines, they can coach us on that over and over again by doing. But at the end of the day, I see people still doing that. And you mentioned it on the spot where if there are people who haven't reached the point where they desire, I guess they don't have the feeling yet.
Yeah.
The feeling.
Well, okay, that's a good point, and I want to talk about that, Samson. Thank you for bringing that up. We don't have the feeling yet, because a feeling, usually we get our feelings based on our thoughts, okay? And our thoughts are based on our memories, the triggers those thoughts, right? So how do we get those feelings if we're not successful yet? So let's say that we haven't had the success that we aspire to attain, okay? So how do we get that feeling? That is something that we could do. We have to learn to tap into that space. So whatever works for you, like what works for me, let's say I love yoga. So what works for me is when I drop everything. If there's any negativity or any doubt that creeps in, I drop everything I'm doing. Either for those of you that do yoga, that you go to the gym, you go for a run, whatever, you do boxing, you do meditation, get into a space where to tap into that, really, to the quantum field, okay? This infinite field of possibilities. And imagine, what is it that you want to attain? Imagine what success meant to you. Let's say that, how would you feel when your whatever's near, because it's gotta come back to here. Whatever is near and dear to your heart. For example, sometimes in this economy, people worry about their finances, but worry about sending kids to school, and they get this worry from their past and from whatever they think they project into all those worries. But learn to say, stop all that, put a wall, block that, and give yourself that space and say, okay, listen, there is this quantum field out there, okay, of infinite possibility. What would it be like for you when your kids are, money is no issue, you're able to send your kids to college, whatever those things that those things that make this happy. From there, how does it make you feel? What does it make you feel? When you connect to that is the feeling you're going to go after. Because when you have that feeling, then you can think of what you need to do. I don't know am I making sense, Samson? I don't know.
Oh, beautiful. No, I mean, actually, you answered the question the right way, because, a lot of people, we can talk about the self-worth, but yeah, it was perfect, because a lot of people, they know that they don't feel worthy, but sometimes when you have that feeling, it's like you're in a spiral, you cannot get out yourself, right? So, of course, you go back to try to work the business, to use the how-to, but still you don't get the result, because on the inside, you're still not worthy. So that point of that self-love, like you answered it perfectly. How to get the feeling, and what you did was a great example, because that's, and of course, I know you always feel you're worthy of everything. So
no, not always. Sometimes you gotta tap into a different whole world now. But anyway,
sure. I mean, this conversation can go on forever, but I don't think we have time for that, because it is. I see, as I travel to some of the other markets where, any individual's business is always ups and down, and same thing with any market. So how to pull themselves back up? I mean, that's a solution. After all that work, you had some success, but at the same time, maybe you didn't build enough momentum yet. Didn't build enough critical mass, so then it dropped a little bit. But then you feel unworthy over those little things. It probably, yeah, exactly. Probably somewhere from the past that caused it, that feeling to come back, that triggered it. But the reality is you're more worthy than you think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about circumstances. Okay. Think about, Samson, when you and I first started it. Okay. There's nobody, there's no Jay, no Ruby, no, none of that stuff. Nobody made a dime yet on day one. Right. So you talk about, now there's two ways of looking at it. You go to a meeting, there's not too many people. Now, one can either go depressed, or because that depression coming looking at the meeting, there's hardly anybody there. right? So
Yeah.
people can get depressed, or you go, whoa, nobody's at this meeting. I'm going to fill this room. So now, where did that drive come from? I'm going to fill this room. It all goes back to here. You tap into the infinite possibility. You just say, when we first got started, Samson, I don't know about you. What drove me was my dream, my aspiration. And those dreams and aspirations.
Nobody could stop you. I mean, it was so clear. I mean, you were like vibrating it. The vibe was there.
Yeah, I mean, whether the people or not, we're vibrating. Nobody made it down there, but we were high.
Yeah, we were high.
What was I excited about? About the unknown. You see, if you talk about the known, there's only a few people in the meeting. But so, I mean, it is really, you know, I truly grasp, but now after so many years of entrepreneurship, I truly grasp what it means when they say success is an inside job. It truly is an inside job. Whatever that, you know, to our friends that are watching right now, you know, whatever you're facing right now, whatever that's happening in your life right now, you know, there's always a brighter side. There's always a brighter side unbeknownst to us, and that belongs to the unknown. So I hope that, I think maybe we'll move on to the next one, Samson, because I think we tap into those three things. I hope you're getting it, and I hope that I articulate it clear enough for it to make sense.
Okay, so I see a few of the questions they ask about how to do the business, but I think I can sum it up in a way where, you know, of course, people want to succeed, to see results, but they want to see the results fast. Obviously, there's many factors, but in your experience, and if the power is gonna come from within, can you express to the people out there what made you fast all the time? Because a lot of people, they don't realize it, because a lot of people, they think they come in, they make one appointment a week, and that's fast. So versus there are people who maybe they already have some kind of sales experience, outside sales, and they're like making appointments. But I think, you know, of course, at the end of the day, you have to be very efficient in whatever you do. Because a lot of people ask, oh, is it important to plug in an event? Is it important to edify? Is it important to learn from the system? Is it important to plug in? There's some people that only want to do from their home and never meet up. There's a lot of question about that. But at the end of the day, when you go through that smoke, they still all want to succeed. So,
okay, you know, I want to interject that, Samson. They still want to succeed.
Yeah.
That still want to succeed is at their own terms, at their own turf. I don't know. Maybe they strike, maybe they're lucky. I don't know. How do I go fast? Because I have gone through enough slow times. You know, these questions to me are all the noises in our head. It's not the real deal. Guys, I can sit here for hours and hours and give you a whole bunch of BS about everything. No need. The reason I got to where I am is hard work. What I mean by hard work, it wasn't hard labor work. It was hard work right here and right here. Get ready to dig into here. You know, when nobody believed in you, when everybody's laughing at you and challenging, including yourself, there's a little head behind it and challenge, who do you think you are? You come from a whole family of, you know, your entire family in the past, your whole family tree. Nobody will ever been rich before. What do you think? All these stuff that are coming through, you know what? It takes work. It takes bravery. It takes heart. It takes guts to say, you know what? I have what it takes to be successful. You know what? I am worthy. I am going to change my family tree from this point forward. I want to be a provider. I want to be a good mother. I want to be a capable mother. I want to be a great wife to provide for family. I mean, these are things that got to right here. So as far as how to, come on, guys. This is the internet age. You go Google Jeunesse, a whole bunch of stuff come out, good and bad and ugly and the beautiful, okay? So you got to learn. And so when we learn to listen with this, along with open ears and with this, you begin to pick up things. And so I just, you know, people, well, I want to be successful, but I don't want to drive. I want to be successful, but I don't want to go to any events. Okay. I don't know. I became who I am because I work hard. I plug into event. I learn how to edify. I learn how to promote events. I didn't sit at home, sign up a few people and become wealthy. It took work. 9 years ago, when nobody could travel, I was the only one traveling, carrying my suitcase, getting a whole bunch of product, getting on flying to different part of town. I didn't live in this big, beautiful home. I worked my butt off. And you know what? It's well worth every single ounce of my efforts. So just, you know, people look at things and they start judging, go, oh, Kim is so lucky. Absolutely. I am so lucky. I am in different ways. And so you talk about the how-to. Look, we talk about, there's Samson, you did a beautiful job on the NDO, the new distributor orientation. Everything, the how-to is already on the internet. But the hardest how-to, but the answer is there, okay? But the hardest how-to is to work this operating system in here. Well, actually, it's right here, okay? But anyway, but you know what I mean. It does take bravery. It takes hard work and hard work. That is the hardest work to how not to live in an illusion. I don't know if it makes sense, but anyway, okay, Samson, next. Go on the next one.
Perfect. Okay, because that answers a lot of questions. Because the how-to they can learn anytime and repeatedly, over and over. But
yeah,
where you get the power to move forward, that's from the heart. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
And oh, by the way, that goes to my second thing. Okay, the first thing we talk about a lot of things. Just learn to pull things that's happening in our lives, whatever that might be. I mean, look at a big old company, Kodak. I mean, they were the one that changed the whole film industry. But where are they now? It's the changing of the business landscape of technology. Everything's changing. So if people don't believe you, I don't know what else to say. Move on, okay? So coming back to how to work the business. Again, once you get involved in the business, you have to learn. If you don't, I mean, some people coming in, they go, oh, okay, they told me I have to watch the NDO. And so when they sponsor someone else, they go, well, you know what? You got to go watch the NDO. And when I ask them, well, have you watched the NDO? Have you plugged into the webinar yourself? No, I haven't. Well, how can you expect other people to do something that you haven't done yourself? So I think there's again, I think what the word I'm trying to pull at is really, to me, everything boils down to authenticity. Authenticity with yourself, with your words, with your feelings, with your actions, and with your thinking. Some people might say, well, you know, I got a phenomenal opportunity that could change your life. They might say that, but they don't feel it and they don't believe in it. Well, when that happens, you can't convince nobody. You know, if you tell me, so, you know, I mean, I tell you, sometimes I would buy things from someone just off their enthusiasm, because they have such a conviction. And you ask them how to use this thing, they have no clue, but their conviction sold me. And so how to work the business, I would say, once you get involved, take time to learn, not just one webinar, not just one video. There are so many. We have a channel that's got all the resources ready for you if you want to learn it. Now, again, when you learn these stuff, don't bring your old brain, the old operating system, and start judging and say, well, the lighting is not right. You know, they didn't pronounce a certain word right. Don't bring that head into looking at this thing. So everything we have done in the past, really have done, at least from many of the people that I work with, we have done it with our heart. It's 1,000% heart, 1,000% hard work until today. You know, rarely do you see that people have built a tremendous organization. I mean, Samson has a massive organization, but 9 years later, we're still doing this. It's now almost 10 o'clock at night here in Los Angeles. We're still working, but this is labor of love. It took a lot of love to do this call. If you only know the bright light that's shining on my face, okay? But anyways, so that would be the number 2 thing about how to work the business. And number 3 thing, Samson, is how to work with your team. And this one word, that the one sentence that I want to send it to you as a gift to all of us, is that this is something I learned a long, long time ago. This phrase or this sentence or phrase or whatever, that is, it's called people respect what you inspect. So when you work with people, don't just assume that they have done it. Oh, I told them already to plug in. Inspect, ask them, have you done that? And for those who are really serious about the business, they wouldn't mind you inspecting and working with the people. And so obviously your intention, your heart is very important when you do this whole gig. So those 3 things, okay? 1, learn how to articulate this business. It's no longer just an MLM, Oh, is this Amway? Is this like Amway? Yeah, it is. And then some. It's like an iPhone. An iPhone, is this a camera? Is this a phone? Yes, and then some. iPhone is a beautiful phone and then some. It plays great music. It's a great camera. It is a great video recorder. It does everything. So are we like a multi-level marketing, like a direct selling model? Yes, and then some, just like an iPhone. So, and when you talk to people, learn not to give out everything all at once. What do you do? So Samson, ask me what I do before I wrap up. So ask me what I do.
Oh, so what do you do, Kim?
Now, preface first, you're a businessman. Let's say, okay.
Okay, so we're having a conversation, having a coffee. So Kim, how's it going?
Good. What do you do? Tell people your background first. What are you? What do you do?
Oh, okay. Okay, let's say I'm an auctioneer. I'm selling cars right now.
Okay.
But I'm looking to make more money.
Okay.
Yeah, because I only get paid when I go to the auction, but when I'm not working, I have a lot of time, I have nothing to do. So I'm looking for, I don't know about job. I don't really want a job because that's working for somebody else. Or are there, so I don't know. I mean, you're my good friend. Yeah.
Okay, what do I do?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Let's say that you want more time, you're auctioneer. Yeah. So let's say you're auctioneer, you don't want another job. I'll say, you know what? I work from home.
Really? Can you make money from that?
Are you kidding?
Make money from home.
Are you kidding me? Of course. Now, so notice how I say something. I don't go, well, I work from home. I work with this company called Jeunesse. We do this amazing resveratrol and none of that stuff. We have to learn the art of not fire hosing somebody. Okay. So what do? I work from home. Somebody said, well, what's that? What do you do? I have different answers depending on what to do. Let's say that, for example, if someone owns a beauty salon, or let's say, for example, somebody that cuts hair owns a beauty salon. What do? I work from home. Really? But what do you do at home? I say, well, I represent a line of anti-aging product. So if they are in a beauty business, so it depends on what is it they do. So for Samson, if he's a young guy, a pretty internet savvy, I'll say, you know what? I'm an internetpreneur, internetpreneur, whatever. Like how they have, the social media celebrities and all that stuff. Well, I work from the internet. I work from home. I work with the internet.
How's the money?
How's the money? As big as you can get. How do you think the internet business world is? How do you think e-commerce is? How big is?
I don't know. I see all the big companies making money, but I don't know if anybody else is making money.
Well, I do pretty decent, and I'm looking for people just like you. Work at your own pace. You can make it as big as you like, or as small as you want.
Yeah. So because I mean, look, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it big. Does it? How big is it?
Well, how big do you think the e-commerce is? How big do you think the e-commerce is?
Oh, so it's e-commerce. I see.
Of course, on the internet, through the internet. You know how internet is changing everything. Look at Amazon. You heard about Uber, right? You heard about Lyft, right?
Yeah, but if I do that,
you heard about all that, right? The sharing economy is allowing people like you and I to tap in.
I see. Okay.
So now that's one way, right? That's one way. We can go on and on, but I wanted to. So there's different ways, but the key thing is not to volunteer everything all at once. And learn to just say a few things. The reason why there's no script, because everyone Most people come from different walks of life, different background. I mean, there's a whole different dynamics of their personality, their likes and dislikes, their judgment, their perception, and their background, their business background, professional background. There's so many different things. So that's why I said, gotta get this and gotta know what's happening, and then what's happening around you in the business landscape, and what's happening with them, their background, and then go from there. There's no right way. There's no wrong way.
Oh, I know. Is it one of those pyramid things?
What do you know about that?
I don't know. I hear that's what a lot of people do.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Do you think I look like someone that would do the pyramid thing like that?
Well, I don't know. I heard pyramids make money,
for a
but
long time, Samson.
huh?
You've known me for a long time.
Yeah. But I mean, I just want to make money. So.
Well, if you're open, I can show you how. But you got to be open.
Okay.
You got to dump all that thought, that whatever it is. If you're open and ready, I can show you.
I'm open.
Great. Our webinar, plug into a webinar. See, the thing is, okay, Samson, you know what? We have a 30-minute webinar that, you get to meet some of our friends from some of the entrepreneurs from different parts of the world, that they share about the opportunity. I don't know if there's a fit, but at least you can see it for yourself before you decide to do it or not. You can take a look. So I will send you a link. Okay, it's 30 minutes, and I will introduce some of my partners afterwards, and so see if it's something for you.
Okay.
And you can judge yourself. Okay.
Okay. Well, send me the link then.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So I mean, guys, it could be as simple as that. You take it to wherever level you want to go. So I hope that it gives you a little glimpse of what it is. There's a whole different, I mean, we can talk day and night about this whole topic, but ultimately it all goes back to here. I mean, Samson, when I first talked to you, nobody made a dime yet. You, Winnie, and a few other people, I mean, you guys jump right on board. As a matter of fact, you guys came out my house and say, you know what? We're not leaving until we get enrolled.
If you're in, I'm in.
It was like excitement. I want to do something, And so is there anything else before we wrap up the call?
I think it's very effective because, it clears a lot of the smoke and mirrors, all the distractions. So you got to the very point of, you got to be hungry, right? You got to have it. You got to know what you want, right? You got to be worthy, right?
And in that, I want to wrap this up by at the end. I want to tell the story at the end, and that goes back to how this call came about, and that goes back to oftentimes in life we underestimate the impact of our little actions. Okay. How this call came about was a lady from Australia. She was working, she wanted to expand her team to Greater China. She herself was Australian. And so because she thought there's some language barrier, so she tried to leverage the system and had asked us to do a call for her. And our Double Diamond Yvonne was gracious enough to do a call for this lady and her team. And so because of that, and Yvonne had shared with me some of the insights that she discovered about this conference call and things that we can learn to improve on. And so, and because of that, I had called this lady and I had asked her, I said, listen, I want to do a call for you and your team, because let's learn how better to utilize and how to package our story and how to articulate what it is that we do. Yes, it's anti-aging and then some. Yes, is e-commerce and then some. So we just got to learn how to articulate and package that. And so that's how this whole thing came about. She never thought that all this would come into a worldwide webinar. And because of her efforts, and what I love in helping her is that this woman just never gives up. Now she might think, she doesn't have enough production to warrant to call for a training webinar. But you know what? Someone's watching. I watch this lady, has 2 kids, works a job, but never gives up. Month in, month out, still in the game, still trying hard. Sometimes it takes us a little adjusting our course, adjusting our, honing our skills, fine-tuning those little things to make it work. But this call came about because of her. And I want to do this, and I'm going to give Angie some time to. I wanted you guys to know and see the real deal, what kind of business it is. Look, I'm sitting at home in Los Angeles. We have, I don't know, Samsung's at 15, 16 countries online, from their cell phone, from their smartphone, whatever. So I want you to see what kind of business it is, who's doing what on this. Now, they may be noisy background, okay? It doesn't matter. So I want to do that. I want you to know and see real life, what it's like, the people that are doing the business. It might be, they might be at home with a bunch of kids yelling. It doesn't matter. I just happen to put my dog and my kids away, you know, so it's quiet and nice. But I want you to see real life, to see what people are doing. So right now, I'm going to pan the camera all the way. And this call happened because this lady, she doesn't know it. Her little action became like that. She doesn't know it, but it's happening. I want to pan the camera to our friend in Perth, Australia, Cherry.
Kim.
Hi. Where are your kids? Are they out loud making big noises?
Yeah, definitely. I've thrown them out the house. You've got me all here. Oh, geez.
Well, I want to say thank you to you, Cherry. Because of you, this call happened. And sometimes, you know, we look at things and we never, you know, we don't know that a little action can make such an impact. Because of you, that there are many people that are on this call. And because of you, that we get to share our thoughts, and hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully we get to clear all that smoke in our head and that noises in our head and go after our dream. So would you like to say a few words, Cherry?
Oh, thank you, Kim and Samson. That was unbelievable training. And yeah, I think feeling that I'm worthy of doing this back to the basics is exactly spot on, in the heart and the head, and just sharing with the passion, because you're so right. If you're just sharing from the heart, people will follow you and people will want to know what you're doing. And yeah, I've taken so many notes. I've recorded the call, and I'm so blessed to be in this team. And thank you for your time, because I'm sure everyone's just, I can't wait to just get going, as I always am. But I do lose my way now and again, because I think I start filling my head with old thinking. So I have to get rid of the old thinking and just believe and just get this done.
Good. You know, thoughts happen, thinkings happen, but we can take control of it. Rather than being let the servant be the master, we learn to master our thinking. So when all that thinking happen, learn to drop it, and then learn to tap into the whole different field out there. And so, you know, I want to thank you, and along with your team in Australia and Europe, you know, you guys are an incredible example. Your tenacity, your courage. You know, I tell you, someone's watching. People, I mean, there are people, someone is watching what we do. And we just were all paying our dues. People want immediate success, quick success. But I tell you what, you continue to do what you do, you will get to tell your story to the world. You know, I have worked hard for 20 years silently, when nobody sees it, wasn't making much success, but I never gave up because of my passion, my dream that's in here. I want to go make it happen. And we'll just learn to tap into that one and go make it happen, that field, and go make it happen. So I'm very proud of you, and thank you so much for you, Beth, and your whole gang over there, and your mama in Europe. So we want to thank you. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank all the panelists, all the volunteers that serve relentlessly for this platform, to always be volunteer, doing lighting, doing sound control, doing all this stuff to make this call happen. So I want to thank you, Samson, for hosting this call. And I also want to thank Angie for behind the scene, doing the admin control, and all of you that relentless, that give and serve. It gives me great joy and pleasure and honor to be on this call with all of you. So thank you very much. Have a great evening, great day, and make it a great life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.